I'm Glen Calleja. I'm the culture contact point at the moment, working within the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Environment. And basically what we do is that we help organizations, cultural operators, so anyone from local council to a group of artists, access funding from the culture program, which is the European Commission's biggest program for culture and the arts. What we typically do is we get requests for information from operators, we provide some basic information and then help them to build their projects slowly. We also help them find partners where it's needed, because the culture program typically requires collaboration projects. So we also help them to broker that relationship with prospective partners. Well, my background is primarily in the humanities, so my first degree is in psychology and philosophy. My second degree is in the classics and Near Eastern studies, so it's a varied background. And there's no particular set of skills which you really need for the job. What you really need is confidence to be able to communicate and a bit of vision. The salary bracket varies obviously from country to country, but in Malta it could be between 20,000 and 25,000, so it's junior management basically, but that is negotiated, of course. It's negotiated according to the other jobs you take up with the culture contact point jobs, with the information jobs, and it's negotiated according to experience and background. Well, in my case, there was a public call by the parliamentary secretariat, and we applied. So what usually happens is that the call is first issued within the civil service, and those employees already within the service can apply to become a CCP or a CCP assistant. If the ideal person is not found within that pool, it's open to the public, so the call is put on the papers and so on and so forth, and people apply. Typically you would get 30 to 50 applications for such a post. It depends on the time, of course, of the year and so on. Well, it's not something, you aspire to become when you're a child. It's not like when you're 10 years old you say, when I grow up I'll become a CCP, sort of thing. It's something you stumble upon, particularly if you're exploring opportunities within European funding and European contexts. And basically you submit your application, your CV, your portfolio. We have a professional portfolio, and it's evaluated slowly. Since we're in the civil service, it usually takes a bit of time to process such applications. Then there's interviews, second interviews, and basically you see how you perform there. Like any job, it has its fantastic days and it has its difficult days. A difficult day or a difficult client might be someone, very often in this sector we meet huge egos, So people in culture and the arts always think that they have the ultimate original idea, that they have the ultimate project which the European Commission cannot resist, cannot but fund, and it's going to save the world in terms of culture, which is obviously not always the case. Very often a difficult client would be someone who's still thinking very local and very small when it comes to European funding, which is a bit wider than the size of Malta, basically. So very often my difficult moments come when I'm frustrated trying to explain that, this goes beyond our little village. The high points is when you receive an idea which is already very well developed and very well structured and has a wider vision of culture and the arts, and that could come from any sector, really any sector, be it from traditional handicrafts to the most contemporary of disciplines. And it's really a beautiful thing to see that some people can think so flexibly, so creatively, really.